this language and trying to decrypt it and sort of fathom the full complexity of whatever code or cipher or puzzle this may be. And you tried a couple of like smaller experiments and stuff in the meantime. I can't remember if you just did the test with the orb and felt that like weird sort of scan type thing happen. Did you have any other experiments you wanted to try, or did you want to just keep trying to decode or focus on something else?
I wanted to do my I don't know. I kind of wanted to do like a gravity thing.
Okay, yeah.
And possibly try to push or pull any sort of levers or buttons that I don't see, like maybe below us. So
all right, yeah.
Pretty much do a gravity field below us.
Okay. So you do you remember if you've ever used your gravity powers on this?
No, I tried the shrinking power once on the...
Oh yeah, that was what like really freaked it out.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
On like the ball, because it started like getting really agitated.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't like that. So
yeah, but you haven't used your gravity powers on it, I don't think.
Nope, not that I know of.
Okay.
And actually, before I put it below us, I would ask the doctor. I would be like, I'm going to attempt something, and it might be dangerous. Would you mind stepping out of the room for a second?
Yes. Hold on. Let me get to my equipment. She like takes the couple of like more delicate things and like moves it to the edge of the room and sort of like observes from like around the corner of the ramp. Which she actually has like this like segmented pieces of mega damage armor that she wears as like PPE during like experimentation. So she has like a helmet. Basically, is like, oh well, put on the mega damage helmet for this experiment.
Yep, for sure.
That sort of thing.
Not a bad idea.
Yep. It's important when you're a squishy human. All right, so yep, she evacuates to the edge of the room, and
then I would do it on this room first.
Okay.
Like I would just pretty much.
What kind of gravity are you doing? Gravity power.
First, I'm gonna do weightless. We're just gonna weightless this whole room and see. See what happens.
So you use that power. As you do, you feel the normal like weightlessness thing, and you're aware of a slight sort of like shifting sensation throughout the room, and especially on the dome.
Okay. And
almost like
that semicircle thing.
Yeah, with all the like Tetris pieces and glyphs on them.
Okay.
Yep. It's almost like the surface of the metal is like slightly more like ductile, flexible.
Okay. It's trying to raise up, but it
Yeah.
it can't, or is being.
It has more of an effect on it than you would expect from like normal material.
All right. I reverse.
Like it's being stretched out almost.
I reverse and go 30 gravity.
Okay.
On the room.
Yeah, so as you do that, you're in the gravity area, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you feel like the crushing effect of gravity on you.
I guess since I'm smart,
Mm-hmm.
before that, I would make myself weigh 1 pound.
Okay, yeah, sure. That works. That actually, yeah, that's an interesting way of not being affected by gravity.
Yep.
Yeah, so you tune your weight so that you feel the slight pull, but as you're only 1 pound, 30 G, it makes you 30 pounds.
Exactly. Oh no.
um,
I'm lighter than I was.
yeah. So as you do that, the you get the same sensation, although it is more noticeable now. And you see like all of the individual Tetris pieces like sink into the dome slightly and sort of like move up and down. Like the grooves between them have become a more like operable
Is it like
they
one of
they
those?
become less carvings and more like separate pieces moving across the dome.
Oh. So like, are they moving on their own, or can I like?
Slightly,
Can I?
ever so slightly.
Can I slide them?
If you like press down or like touch one of them, it seems like you could like move them within the piece.
Is have I kind of figured out if these pieces represent the tower itself? Like, if I move something, am I going to like remove a wall and then the tower like structure alters?
It's not beyond the realm of possibility.
All right, I'm trying that. I'm just gonna kind of move a couple of symbols and try to like make something. Like if it's Tetris pieces, if they're two L's, I put them together.
So think of it like a dome-shaped Rubik's Cube made out of Tetris pieces and also with words on it. This is the level of puzzle that you're dealing with.
Okay. 4D chess ain't got shit on this.
Yep. So like you can rotate the pieces, but only when they're next to certain other pieces. And when you slide a piece, like the entire row of pieces that are interlocked with that particular piece also slide, and that changes like every single symbol on the dome and like the relationship to one another.
Oh god. So I now, instead of having to spend a month theorizing of how these go together, I can now fuck around and okay. Like, because I could have spent a month and like, okay, now I think I figured it out, but I still don't know how to activate it. And then so I skipped that part. Cool.
After some short experimentation, it seems as though you've like you've gained the ability to push the buttons, but it does not seem like whatever is powering this structure is like turned on, or if it is, it's like in like emergent, like in sleep mode still.
Yep.
So if there is an on button, you have not turned it on yet. So any of the movement on here does not seem to be affecting the structure as a whole.
Okay. 1 second. I got company just popped in, so
all right.
Give me about 2 to 3 minutes. But I get it that I need to find the power button.
I guess while he's out, we can jump back to Willow. You're still there, right, Blaine?
Oh yeah, it helped if I unmuted myself. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so yeah, before I will want to do the like radio conversation thing.
Yeah.
Before you do any more building rolls.
Yep.
But there's another thing that we can do before then that would be relevant. Another little event. So sort of by the end of your week, we'll say shortly before they sort of make the radio contact, Willow is busy doing her thing, and how zoned out is she while she's doing this? Like,
Okay, if Willow has a term zoned out, it's her now. Like, she's so focused in this stuff that like it probably took them 7 or 8 times of them radioing that there was a thing outside.
yeah.
That it probably had to be like Titanus being like, "Hey, by the way."
So like, if, like hypothetically, if the base were to be attacked, how quickly would she notice?
Oh my god, not at all. Like, unless like after about a week, they'd probably have some kind of alarm set up, and she may go to that after a little bit. But I mean, she's probably working in very, very noisy areas,
Right.
so it'd probably take a good jostling or a good couple minutes before she notices.
Okay, so yeah, like after about, so you become aware of something of a disturbance going on in like the middle of the settlement. There are a couple of your drones sort of semi-confronting a person, an arrival.
Actually, if one of her complex drones actually was involved, she would snap out. Well, she wouldn't have to snap out of it. They could interact for her.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll do that then.
Yeah, it would probably be her Earth Defender.
So yeah, the two like the drones and the people that notice this person sort of alerts the Earth Defender, Willow.
Yep.
And then that complex drone comes to the scene. So you recognize this as Fedariel, the saint.
Okay.
She is in sort of normal like Fey like robe get up with her like stone staff with all the like holes in it and stuff and feathers.
All right.
And from the looks of it, and from the reports of the other drones, she just dropped out of into the middle of the camp.
Oh?
What?
As you do.
Yep. When
And
you can do things like that.
She is just like, "Hello, I wish to speak to either Willow or Rudge."
The Earth Defender drone's like voice synthesizer is not set up for Willow fully, so probably in like a very robotic kind of like badass sounding. It's like, "I am Willow."
So she kind of looks at the drone and says, "No, you are not. You are a machine."
That is incorrect, but I understand what you're getting at. Please give me a moment to pull myself away from my project. And then like, at this point, it'd probably take like a solid minute for the drone to be like, hey, okay. And then we'll be like,
so
fine.
While that's
Can't
happening,
even get your own attention.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
While that's happening, Fedariel kind of like is examining the drones. And,
the entire time, this drone would be trying to convince that this is Willow. Like using probably extremely technical terms.
Yeah.
The interface is absolutely
she's using like some magical stuff like I detected your auras, the auras of your power in this vicinity, but it is most definitely not. Well, it's not exactly coming off of this. There is some connection, though.
Yeah.
Very curious.
Like there's a direct connection. Like Willow.
And
like I would imagine as like Willow comes out and like raises her hand to like say hello, the drone does the exact same motion to show. See, connected.
You are as one.
Same with that one over there, and she'd point to the wasp. That would do like a nod.
Very nice.
This is not a power I would ever hide from you. You are a trusted ally, and I actually forgot to It's been a while since we've had a chance to get over and talk with you.
My domain is not one that is easily traveled in the best of times. And such
We've had
times
quite-
are far behind us, I'm afraid.
Is there trouble in your domain?
No more than there was on your last visit. Less. I have been working to put things back in their places after my period of inactivity.
Yeah, we've had.
I like your metal designs.
Thank
This
you.
resembles an insect.
Yes, I actually got the idea traveling through your domain, actually.
And the leaves, very nice.
I actually had been meaning to speak to you for a while. It's just been very hard to pull myself away from my other tasks.
I understand completely.
The wasp over there, the humanoid construction here, they are extensions of my will, if you will. I actually had meant to send a similar wasp like that to your domain to act as a sort of, what's that called? Diplomat of sorts. What is ambassador?
Emissary.
Yeah, emissary. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah,
I actually meant to do that a long time ago. I just have not had the chance. I can see and act as one with it. It is no different than me standing there, other than a different form and lack of superpowers, I guess.
She seems to accept this and say that it makes pretty much sense to her. Probably from a magical perspective rather than technology, but yeah.
Out of game, that's actually why I built the wasp one first.
Yeah.
As I was going to send it there, but we've needed it. But yeah, so if you are traveling back by any means with bringing that with, I would love to venture back with you.
Certainly.
It
is most curious.
Yes, and I
have never encountered a machine like this before.
Yeah,
as seldom as they are in my domain.
Yes, your domain is very intriguing to me. I come from a planet where metal plants are common, and leafy plants, where they are organic, is very rare, actually. So to see your world, we probably view each other similar.
She nods in agreement.
But is there anything that I could do to help you with your visit currently? Is there a specific reason why you came here?
Yes, I came because I heard ill tidings from the river. The spirit of the river, Sedna. She sent word that there was interlopers in your domain.
Yes, we encountered... I don't know if you're familiar with the Coalition. You've been away for a bit, so you may not be aware of them.
They are men. Those of the human race.
Correct. They are, as far as I can understand it with this entire planet, they seem to be the largest collection of humans. They seem to be a large military-driven force. And unfortunately, currently, they are on a war campaign, which means anything not directly human seems to be a target.
She sort of nods and says, I gathered as much from Sedna. I am not familiar with these people. I seem to recall perhaps a few had entered into my forest, but they did not last long.
I imagine they wouldn't.
I imagine that they were lost, as many are who enter.
Individually, they are just ordinary people that have normal fears and desires and whatnot, but collectively, they are a danger to anything that's not human, specifically human.
She sort of nods and has this like far off look in her eye, and she says, they are many, and they bring with them the machine of war to our land.
Yes. We
A cog, the fates foreseen.
Yeah, I've been involved in I've been involved in military stuff most of my life. I may not have been in any of the inner workings, but I've worked for or had been enslaved for the purpose of war, so I understand that they are acting out of fear and or ignorance, but nonetheless we've been trying to interact with them, but they are not one for talking. We actually have a couple of them prisoner from a recent skirmish we had.
There was a time long ago when this land knew great war.
Looks around at the buildings. I would imagine so.
She nods and says, great war for a long time. There has not been war here for many, many years, but the coming of these men bodes ill. I, like you, seek to preserve peace on this land and prevent it from being damaged by interlopers. I would offer you what help I can. I am afraid that the fairy folk are not ones for conventional battle. We also are, well, it is somewhat difficult to operate outside of my domain. I can, of course, make the occasional visit, however. Right now.
I would not expect any of you to engage. This is actually a more personal entangle that we're dealt with. The thing is that we plan on building up a civilization that will essentially rival theirs. And so we will eventually have to deal with them one way or another. We are going to do everything we can to resolve it diplomatically, but I lack any confidence that we will be able to do so.
Well,
Their drive seems to be one of purge rather than work with.
that is unfortunate.
Yes.
Any aid of the mystic arts I can provide or support, I can do so.
About the only thing that I could think of would be if you have any way of concealing us, or if I could ask once more for you to bless some fields, because we no longer have the blessed field.
I can aid in concealing this location, yes.
Interesting. How so?
I can weave magic similar to that in my domain, which makes the path to this place somewhat less straight. It will be much weaker than what it is in my land, as this is beyond my control by some miles, but it should be enough to break off anyone who may track you here through normal means. It will take me some power to erect around a region such as this, but I have power to spare. I would also give you these, or this, and she pulls from like the top of her staff it's sort of like a pine cone. That is like green and has it's like a pine cone made out of like these sort of thick like sharp leaves, green leaves. and she hands it to you and says, "This is a enchanted seed of sorts. If you are in dire need of aid, you can plant it in the ground, and it will allow me to help you. Bring reinforcements."
Is it an instantaneous effect, or is it something we need to plant ahead of time?
It takes a few minutes to complete the process, but that is all. And it is a single-use item. It is not the easiest seed to come by.
Don't worry, we won't just use it for funsies.
This one took about 40 years to grow.
Good to know. I will respect your time. Is there anything that we could offer you in exchange for your help? I know that we have been we've been back and forth, and we helped you the once, and you've been helping us more than you probably know.
I ask only that you continue to respect the wilds around you.
Actually, that brings up a whole nother question. There have been figures in these woods and hills behind us here. They've been spooking some of our meatier, fleshy people. The non-mega damage beings here. If you could aid in identifying, or at least no, you know what? I don't want to actually ask that of you. That's an expedition that.
As you sort of mention this, you see her head sort of like turned down slightly, and the light reflects off her hair in a way that makes it look darker. Same with her eyes, and she says, "Wretched shadows lurking in the dark. I've seen them, yes. Maggots gnawing at the roots of our world. They are unnatural, unwelcome, from a place unknown. I have seen them. I am watching them. They are becoming more bold."
I would advise you to look into it as far as you can, actually. I do fear that the assault that you suffered might have been linked to it.
She nods and says, "Most definitely."
Go ahead.
The darkness recedes a little bit from her and says, It is concerning that they are looking at you as well. I thought that their presence did not expand to this far south."
I have a feeling that it expands further than you think. I can't remember, did we talk to her about Freak Show and that?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
You mentioned the possibility that he was involved in some sort of scheme with the witches.
Yeah. I would not count this out as being part of his ploy, and if it reaches your domain and ours over here, there's a good chance that it is amongst this entire region.
Yes, the rot runs deep.
The other concern that I have is that there are alien towers to the south. I mentioned before about Dawnspire a bit. Last time we were there, they were awakening further than they had in the past several years, so I'm thinking that the time that it may take to awaken fully might be accelerating. and I have no idea what it's capable of or what it is. And there's a good chance that whatever that is could be disturbing whatever they are as well. But
Towers beckoning on something dark. Yes.
it could be anything, even just the fact that it's definitely engaging with the earth itself. It is communing with the earth in some way, shape, or form, and I'm not sure how, but the fact that it is underground to begin with and only rising up, now.
As they rise from the dark. And while this is happening, like, she's doing the thing where she just, like, you're not really sure if she's actually listening to you. She's just sort of like staring off and like muttering to herself.
I love
sort
it.
of in response to what you're saying.
I just love it because Willow's probably doing the exact same thing, thinking about robots.
Yeah. It's like very loosely interfacing, but on the same wavelength still.
Yep. The final thing that I would ask is actually, like, Willow actually really loves the forest, and I imagine a lot of these people do too. I would tell her flat out that we would like these forests to be thicker. And if she knows of a way that we could increase the plant life around here on the western side of our city, that she would take any advice that she has. Like, Willow wants a direct forest to the west if possible. Right. And even if it's not supernatural means, just like plant acorns, because that's what they do. Because Willow doesn't know anything about plants.
So, like, as you talk about that, you kind of like pull her out of the dark mood and into the like more lighter colored hair and cheerful attitude. And she says, the soil in this land is harsh. I have cultivated my forest carefully for a long time, but you are not far from us here. It is possible that I could bring some soil of the forest to help the plants grow and recommend some. The soil is not magical per se, it is simply enriched. What is the name? The word.
I mean, so long as I would not want to take away from your kingdom. Your kingdom needs to remain as strong as possible.
But we have nutrients in abundance. Such small amounts would be paltry, and further my goal to expand the wilds in.
And that's essentially what Willow wants too. So,
nature.
Yeah. So, absolutely.
I am pleased at our alliance thus far, and as you said, I am gifting you many things. These are, I believe, mutually beneficial to us, for when I delve into the dark places and look for the root of the rot, I may call upon your aid.
I'll be there. Actually, that reminds me of one more thing. If the coalition does attack, do you have any means of helping Sedna out?
Alas, her domain is far from mine.
Mine as well, but we've discussed with her and she seems to be adamant on not necessarily leaving her area.
She cannot leave in any more way as the river can leave.
So she's physically tied to it?
Wears its way through the earth, given time, and may translate naturally, but she cannot leave like you or I can. Such is the nature of the nymph.
I don't want this to sound ungrateful or unnatural or rude, but could I, like, literally just dig a big ass hole and make her leave? like force her river downwards, so that way she's a little bit safer?
Natural methods are
It's
preferable. Such a transition would not be healthy.
worried about. My concern is that I do believe that she will perish if she remains there for too long. The Coalition's campaign of unity seems to be one that is going to result in her demise at some point in time, and I do not believe that I could convince her to let me alter her river. And
I will visit her and see what magic I can assist with.
I was wondering, I've never had experience with them, but do you know much about portals, rifts, whatever they're called? I'm unfamiliar with their exact terminology, but...
Yes, I have seen them. I have interacted with them.
Do you think it would be possible for her to transverse from her river through one of these rifts to a safer planet or location? I mean, I guess if you haven't been able to do that yourself, that's not likely.
I am not learned in the walking of rifts.
Yes, I imagine it's not.
I know only of the creatures that come from them.
Well, I appreciate everything you've given me, and I don't want to take up any more of your time. I'm glad you stopped by. If there's anything at all we could assist you with, let us know.
I certainly will through you.
Yep.
And she sort of like moves to the the bug and goes to leave. She sort of pauses. Oh, I nearly forgot one more thing. And sort of moving her hand across her staff, she sort of like telekinesises out a ethereal thread tendril, followed by the thin silver needle, which you recognize as the dream needle.
Yeah.
And she says, I meant to give this to you before you left, but I believe it was forgotten. If you so choose, the needle may still be wielded by you who took it from its place. Only those who are able to take it are worthy to wield it.
I'm actually unfamiliar with what it did again, but absolutely we'll take it.
Like if you stab someone with it, it makes you like go into their dream.
Oh yeah. Wait, was it Rudge or Willow that could do that?
We did that.
Either one of you can, because you both also and like maybe technically Stumpendorf, because he was you're I don't think you've ever like had him try and wield it, but he was in that trial.
Actually, that actually brings up a whole nother thing. Like, so this would definitely be at a later time, but Willow's Wasp will definitely talk to her about Stumpendorf.
Okay.
Like, we need to have like a full in-depth discussion on this guy.
Yeah. So yeah, the Wasp Willow knows what the Wasp knows, right?
Yeah. So the Wasp, the Earth Defender, and Willow are the same person.
Okay. Yep. They share senses.
Yep. Identical. They are one with each other.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So that conversation can happen.
Yeah. That is definitely.
As they go back, but yeah, that's definitely something to consider.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So then, she turns into a giant eagle and flies off with the Robo Wasp.
Perfect.
And probably says that she'd return at a later date to like try and look at setting up some like magical concealment around the area.
Yeah, they can talk about that later. That's fine.
Yeah, logistics of that.
Yep.
To be defined. Okay, so moving back over to Rudge, we were talking about the puzzle that you have there
Yeah,
to figure out.
it is quite the conundrum.
Yeah. So you're kind of like at the point where you have figured out the scope of the thing that lies before you and sort of how to manipulate it with the gravity. Now, how much would Rudge be like paying attention to the events going on like outside of the tower while you're studying this, or like outside of your research? Would you just be like totally ignoring all the other stuff, or would you still be like keeping tabs on it?
50-50. Let's see.
I love our characters so much. There's potential destruction everywhere.
I'm busy.
We're doing our own thing. I got a 12 on the low end, so yeah, I'm doing both things. I'm keeping track of it all.
Okay.
Now.
So you're keeping track a little bit more. I'd probably send Zero to give you an update every once in a while when you need a little bit of a break from the thinking puzzle.
Yep, and I think I would have had Zero go up to the top of the spire and kind of do like a rotisserie style, just a 360 view for a while.
Survey. Yeah. So there's some like fortifications, that's the word I'm looking for, up on the top. You actually find that a couple of the like rail guns that the Dawnspire has have been repurposed into like a very rudimentary anti-missile like flak cannon battery, by like broadening the spray of like rail flechettes basically.
Okay.
So you question the effectiveness of this. It probably hasn't been tested out or anything, but it's better than nothing. And yeah, in terms of like what is going on with the quote unquote siege, after about like 5 days into the week, the scouting force that is sort of hovering around the city is reinforced by a Death's Head transport.
Fuck.
With
fuck stick
several robots and stuff. Which this is a force that would be, if they were to attack, would be a significant threat to the city.
Yeah.
Like, they might be able to win.
Who, the city?
But it would be the city.
Yeah, the city
is
the might.
Costly.
Yeah, it'd be like, what's the
if
point?
If they did. And like at about the end of the week, the coalition sort of starts making more like opening sort of diplomatic communications, and the general gist of their deal is that they are requesting that Dawnspire, or they are heavily suggesting that Dawnspire, or no, let me rephrase this better. They are allowing Dawnspire to become a territory, a city, sort of like a territory city-state of the coalition states, which
familiar.
Allows them to gain the protection of the coalition military as long as they follow their laws. The benevolent liberators that they are.
Yep.
The alternative is that the coalition forces of the Campaign of Unity will occupy the city for the duration of the campaign, in order to ensure the security of the coalition state of Lone Star. And then
what?
there is no direct and then. It's just sort of like left at that. Like, maybe we'll leave if we want to.
Yeah. Maybe we'll leave if we deem this place unnecessary for us
Yeah.
to keep.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Like-
we'll leave. Well, no, we won't.
Yeah. No, we want the tower.
Yeah, there is also definitely some like interest in the tower. It seems like Father Castor is taking the lead in this negotiation. It is doing his best to like dance around the subject of the tower. It's just like, oh yes, it is a ruin that we found here. Pretty much inert, but it makes a good structure. That sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And is doing his best as like delay and like just sort of delay.
Yeah,
occupy
them their time.
Be like, oh well, we don't really mean you any harm. We're what are the exact conditions of this deal? Could you send me a copy of your laws, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, to make a full decision whether we want to join or not.
Yeah. You also learn through him that there is actually a coalition states ambassador that is accompanying the 41st Mechanized Division.
Okay.
It seems like their original destination was El Paso, probably to bring similar deals to that city. But it's likely that they'll eventually show up here to do some more ambassadorial negotiation type things.
All right. So there's. Yeah, I don't want to fuck with him though, just because that would then trigger everything.
But yeah, as it stands, the situation looks like it'll probably remain a status quo for
Civil for
at
a bit.
least like another week,
Okay.
hopefully longer.
Yep.
It depends on how patient the coalition are being.
Right, or how long they're just stalling themselves for more
Yep.
troops to show up.
Yeah,
That's
I mean
probably
that
why
too.
they're not being more aggressive about.
I mean, yeah, the general consensus from like the military is like they definitely have the troops to take this place. It's just that they don't really care to like commit them.
Yep.
They have more important places to deploy troops.
Yep.
Yeah, so let's.
Especially if they're talking about El Paso.
Yeah, El Paso is a much bigger city, but it does seem like they have their sights on that area as well. At least in the sort of peripheral, like, we want to make sure you guys aren't a problem for us.
Yep.
Knuckle crack.
Knuckle crack. That's gonna be my name. My name is Knuckle Crack.
So yeah, like at this point, this is sort of the end of the first week. You guys are able to establish radio communication between Dawnspire and the new base.
Oh, son of a bitch.
So you're able to update each other on the current situation in both areas.
Do I know if they're trying to intercept it? Any communications?
You do have there are a couple of pretty capable like radio operators in Dawnspire. So they seem to think that their channel is secure.
Okay.
Whether or not that's true,
Right.
Can't say for sure, of course, but Torres, Dr. Torres is also sort of peripherally involved with them and says that it is fairly likely that we should be on a secure channel unless their counter-espionage equipment has sufficiently improved in the past several years.
Based on what we've seen of their advancements.
Yeah. All right, good enough for me. I need to contact Willow back at our base.
Yeah. So you're able to get a connection and
relay all that shit.
All right. Are you going to make any effort to be covert, or sketchy about the details in case you're intercepted, or?
No, I mean I'll straight up just tell her of what the coalition's movements are. Then when it's of what I'm doing and the spire, then it's gonna be somewhat vague.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly,
progress is happening, unknown results.
You guys are both intelligent and alien enough.
Yeah.
I feel like you could communicate in a way that both of you guys could understand, but no human being could ever really fully figure out what you're trying to say.
Is there an alien language?
Especially about scientific stuff.
I mean, actually, to be fair, we both have translators, so actually, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just
we could literally swap over.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just speak alien language.
Yeah. I mean, that's some pretty good encryption.
Yeah, because I mean, actually, Willow can literally just speak Nalian, and you can speak your language.
Yep.
Actually,
and then just auto translate.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's just neither of these are two different languages. Neither of them are based on anything in human history.
Yep. Good luck figuring that shit out.
Yep.
Better than wind talkers.
Yep. So you guys are able to communicate with each other and sort of relay all the goings on at both sites.
Nice.
And kind of figure out what you want to do from here, I guess.
So they are clearly...
they want this place as far as one way or the other. They'll take it if they have to, but they don't want to expend the effort.
Honestly, I think if shit starts going south, you guys should just fucking activate the tower, attack that shit with everything you got, and let the tower defenses just rip the coalition apart.
Yes, I think that's what we're aiming towards here. Because
problem is, I don't know if you would definitely have to plan an escape route at that time, because it's probably going to consider you dangerous too.
Right. Because the end result is the coalition gets control of this tower and this city.
Actually, we need to check to see if they're at the other towers too.
Oh, you think so?
There's 3 more towers. I mean,
these rooms are opening at the others.
I mean, even if they're not, they're big ass black towers.
They're all
domes. Yeah, they're all domes, whatever. But I mean, if they're flying overhead, they can see them.
You would have to assume that they're poking around them.
Yeah, I think. So I'm sorry, I wasn't fully listening because I was doing stuff. So they have some sky cycles, attack choppers, some carrier choppers, and you said a death's head.
Recently, they have a fully equipped death's head that landed, and is sort of the flagship of the current force.
I will keep on deciphering what I can, trying to activate this, and just going as fast as I can possibly work.
The problem that I see is that if we actually so if this coalition force isn't just straight up obliterated, they're gonna send far more and far more deadly things.
Well, that's all right.
So
because we'll be gone, and it'll just be on in defensive mode, and they can just throw forces at it in vain for all I care.
I mean, I'm thinking the same thing, but what I'm concerned about is that if, say, they defeat the forces here, because I mean, as powerful as this tower is, I don't want to just discredit the coalition. We truly have no idea what their true power is. And while they are humans, you throw enough numbers at things, it tends to win.
Possibly. It seems their biggest bangs are missiles.
Yeah, that's why I built Earth Defenders, is because they are great anti-missile shit.
Well, possibly, if this monolith can defend what they currently have, there will be a lull where they resupply troops, and we could set up missile defense.
I think we should send a messenger to El Paso. Actually, how far? I can't remember. How far is El Paso from our base?
Let me just go over to the map.
Because maybe that's what Willow might have to do.
World map.
Just make like a fucking Hail Mary, like flee down there to be like, hey, by the way.
Yep, so currently you got Willow is at this little black dot with the green.
Yeah.
And obviously Dawnspire right here.
Yep. And our route is a little out of the way.
So current coalition activity zone is like
yeah, large swaths of like the central
like
east area of our
this area
yeah
is the zone they're sort of encroaching into.
Yeah, and our kind of, if I remember correctly, our path is something like this down to El Paso anyways.
It's about yeah, you can go that route, which would be probably out of where their like their zone is.
I mean, I think maybe Willow will have to do that. I mean, like if she goes by herself with her power armor, I think she'd be comfortable enough with the range.
Get down there.
Yeah, I mean, with the flying power armor, it's pretty quick, and assuming, taking all the safety precautions. Obviously traveling at slower than cruising speed, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Just for safety's sake.
So then I would tell, what's his name? Whoever runs this town.
The Father Caster.
The caster. Like, if this little skirmish goes the way that, or if this campaign goes the way it's going to go, the coalition will take control of the city, and you will lose Dawnspire and the monolith. I don't believe they would let you continue researching it unfettered. They would bring in their own people and take over.
He chuckles and says, no, we would all be sent to re-education camps, and the tower would be
even if you
violated or desecrated by their scientists.
Even if you pledged your fealty, this would happen, correct?
He nods and says, we are a religious cult, and such things are not tolerated in the coalition states.
Well, there's one good thing about religious cults in this instance. They can be dangerous when they uncover ancient weapons.
That they can.
So,
He smiles and says, I am confident that you will be able to speak to the travelers and give us what
while
we
he's
need
talking,
to
like
defend
Willow's
us.
putting on her power armor, like, okay, crazy's done.
And me and the doctor are planning on activating whatever power we uncover.
In normal circumstances, in months past, I would caution against such demands to the travelers, but I think that our time of need is the point in which we must reach out to them.
Exactly. I don't think there will be a future point. This is the point of no return.